All right, good evening, everybody. We are gathered in. Welcome to the October 9, 2025 general meeting of the Tampa Heights Civic Association. My name is Rick Hernandez, and I serve as president of the THCA. Tonight, we have one action item and one housekeeping matter. First, the housekeeping matter, and please, I apologize just to be quick, but by our bylaws, I'm required to do this the October meeting, actually September meeting, but a little late. Under Article 3, elections, Section 5, conducting annual elections, the election of board members will be conducted in the following manner. At the September, now October general meeting, the president announces an election committee, and the president, with board approval, appoints a committee chair. I'm announcing the appointment of a election committee, and the committee chair is starting with Cheryl, who is sitting out in the audience. Again, Mary, thank you very much for serving us again this year. A broadcast news brief will be sent out seeking nominations for open board positions. It will be sent out to the THCA email group, and the election information will be posted on the THCA website immediately following this meeting. The election committee accepts nominations until the day of the November general meeting for purposes of establishing the official slate. The actual election occurs at our annual meeting in January of 2026. That's it for housekeeping. Thank you for putting up with it. And tonight, we have one action item. It's the not so late show. Our presentation. That's good. We're good. Our presentation of the District 5 candidate forum. In this section, the THCA is proud to partner with TA Conversation, with THAN, and for those of you who aren't nerded out on civic activities, is the Tampa Homeowners Association of Neighborhoods, the Tampa Arts Alliance, the League of Women Voters, and of course, the Tampa Heights Civic Association. Representatives of all partner organizations are seated in the front row. We also have a delegate from one of our D5 neighborhoods, Equal Heights, sitting in the front row. You'll hear more from them later. Now, before moving on to the business of electoral politics, how about the band? Did we have a vote? Very good. Jimmy Fallon will be proud. Well, okay, by way of introduction, on sax, Brandon Mirza. On drums, Mario Morris. On keyboard, Zion Morris. Yes, they are brothers. These young artists are all graduates of Lake High School. They are continuing academic educations and have also continued to use their musical gifts. As Zion put it to me yesterday, to touch beautiful souls like you. I know that particular word package has never been used in a political forum. First time for everything. Gentlemen, we're happy to have you and look forward to hearing from you throughout the program. That said, I'm now happy to introduce Doreen Dollar of the League of Women Voters to tell you a little bit about the League. One
of our favorite neighborhoods in the city.
101 information to help you navigate the coming.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks for having us. We're happy to be here. I'll talk a little bit about the League. The League of Women Voters was established in 1920 in Florida in 1939 and in Tokyo in 1949. We have a lot of years it's grown to be Tokyo and Castro counties, and so we changed our name to reflect that. For those of you that don't know us, we are a nonpartisan group. We do not endorse candidates or parties. We do, however, advocate your positions. For example, in the last election, we did take positions on several constitutional amendment proposals. Currently, we are opposed to mid-cycle redistricting. And if you're interested, our legislature has appointed a committee to review considering maps without any additional data. And so we render our position to that. And if you want to get downloads about that, please visit our table in the back. Voter services and voter protection are at the core of our mission, but we have a number of interest areas and platforms, diversity, equity, inclusion, healthcare, transportation, gun violence prevention, education, as well as environment and climate. Men and women are both welcome to join us. If you're interested in joining, you can visit our table in the back or go to hclwv.org for information on how to do that. We would welcome you. The one other commercial before I get to the election stuff is we do offer a service called vote411.org. So when there are elections, you're interested in what the candidates have to say, you want to check your voter registration status, it's sort of a one-stop shop to do that. So I encourage you to visit that website. I also want to give a shout out to Lynn Price and Ida Campbell, who are helping us out here tonight, representing the league and manning the table. So with respect to the special election for District 5, the election itself is Tuesday, October 28th. Mark your calendars. The deadline to register has passed. So if you're not registered, I'm sorry about that. So that it's not a possibility for the round, but get on it because there will be more opportunities to voice your vote in the future. So vote by mail. The deadline to request is next week, the 16th at 5 p.m. Mail requests now expire after every general election, so verify your request is current with the supervisor of election. You can visit votehillsborough.org or give them a call. Early voting is October 23rd through 26th, and you can, there are 4 early voting sites, Seablake Andrews, Frederick Carl County Center, Robert Giller Elections Service Center, and the West Tampa Branch Library. And on election day itself, though, you must vote in whatever your precinct is. So if that's your preference, just make sure you go to the right place. And that's all I have in that regard. Thank you. And now Terrence Sabia is coming to the stage.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Noreen. Thank you to the League of Women Voters. And thank you to all of you for being here tonight. Let's hear it for you. I am Terrence Sabia, and I'm representing the Tampa Heights Civic Association this evening. And we are excited to bring this program and show to you. We wanted to take it up a notch and have a little fun with the way in which we introduced candidates, and especially as this has been a quick sprint. We know it's been a hard run for our candidates thus far. And we'd also like to thank Vivint Furniture Rentals for our lovely stage set this evening. We will have a few commercial breaks with our partnering organizations throughout the show, so you'll get to hear a little more from them. But for now, it is my pleasure to introduce your hosts for this evening. First up is Garrett Greco. Garrett is a fifth-generation Tampanian whose family settled in Ybor in the late 1800s from Sicily. As host of the Tampa Bay Developer Podcast, Garrett dives into the stories, history, and ideas shaping Tampa Bay's growth, one conversation at a time. Off the mic He's a real estate investor and residential broker with Greco Real Estate, where his love for development and community come together. Whether he's talking shop or shaping deals, Garrett brings the same curiosity and hometown pride that fuels him to see Tampa Bay thrive. All right, our next host is Kari Goetz. Kari, if Kari could be any animal, she would be a flying squirrel. Until that dream materializes, she is thrilled to be part of tonight's Meet the Candidates. Kari is no stranger to Tampa stages and has performed and directed with Stageworks and Job Site Theaters for over 20 years. When she isn't on stage, you can find her flying around the country, providing strategic planning, marketing, and communication services to airports and government agencies. And last, but certainly not least, and he is coming to us once again, it's Mitch Perry. Mitch has covered politics and government in Florida for more than 2 decades. Most recently, he is the former politics reporter for Bay News 9. He has also worked at Florida Politics, Creative Loafing, and WMNF Radio in Tampa. He was also part of the original staff when the Florida Phoenix was created in 2018. And tonight, he's going to be coming to you live from you, the audience. Excellent. And now I'm turning it over to our host.
Coordination for also the
That's right. Okay, Garrett, it's here.
Classy. I'm going to keep it interesting. And Mitch is down there with all of you. And he's in the hot seat. He's got all of you and all of your questions like down here.
Yeah, that's looking good here. Right? I mean, the audience looks good here. Let me start for Naya and the comments, notes, questions. What I asked? Okay.
All right, everyone, please welcome your candidates, District 5, Runoff, Thomas Scott, and Naya.
Make sure your mics are working. See, unlike the real late show, they get to stop and start and before it goes on. We're doing it live, so you guys good? All right, terrific. All right, so here's the deal, right? Not a debate, it's a conversation. So we want to know what matters most, but we also want to know, get to know our candidates.
Hey, how many votes do you have? You have to argue votes right now. The difference between the day and the audience, they're going to be after the question, if you whisper to your neighbor, and never say out loud. So we're going to start the day and decide one candidate at a time. Bishop Scott, we're going to start with you.
All right. So here's your heavy hitting question. You ready? Bishop Scott, what was your first job?
You won't believe it. My first job was in Macon, Georgia, digging a garden, collecting eggs from the chicken and putting the chicken back in the chicken coop. I got paid $1.25 a week. I gave my mother the dollar and I had to keep 25 cents for everybody had to bring something to the house.
That's a very good job of politics.
Is that preparing for politics, Bishop Scott?
No. Sit down. Well, I think the most important thing to recognize is my clergy experience as a clergy and working with my congregation. I recognize that beyond just meeting the spiritual need, there was other needs within the congregation and within the community that was so important that government, county commission, school board, or actually the school board first, 1992, and then the county commission played a major role in the quality of life for my church, for my community, and the people that I was serving. Okay, yes.
All right. What was your first job?
Well, so I learned how to do my first invoice when I was about 13 years old because I was working with my grandmother. And we would go out into a community, whether we were knocking doors or doing the sign-in sheets for Green Artery meetings. And then we would go home, say, okay, you've done your job for the day. Here's how you do your invoice. Send in your invoice so you can get paid. And then all the cousins, we get our money and we can either go to McDonald's or Walmart and get what we wanted. So that was like my first job. And then after that, I worked at Dunkin' Donuts. So, but that was like my first job. Yeah.
Now, okay, so that's totally, but that's where you're on the
I mean, maybe a little bit. I did a couple of community things here. Had to go to community meetings. Some community engagement before I even knew that's what I was doing. So I would say yes, absolutely.
And what was
I worked in nonprofit for the past 8 years. I'm the executive director for Seven. Actually, in this center here is where our nonprofit is. And I've worked with children and families for all that time. And when you work in nonprofit, especially grassroots nonprofit, you see a lot of things on the ground that families are going through daily, that children and their parents are going through. And I did a lot that I could in that nonprofit seat, providing resources. We had, after school programming, summer programming, programs that we have in Hillsborough County Public Schools. But I couldn't necessarily change policy in that seat. And so in order to change policy and really affect condition, I had to be in a place where I could do that. And so that's why this is different.
Wonderful. Well, give them both a round of applause. I can take that. Word from our sponsors. So I believe we have tea and conversation coming up. Say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Keelan McCarthy. I'm proud tonight to be representing the amazing Candy John. She's been hosting tea conversation, which is an opportunity for communities to come together and learn information on political information throughout communities everywhere. And so it has been an amazing opportunity to learn candidates for various roles, various positions. And it has been very informative for many communities, oftentimes larger than our communities aren't at that table. And so tonight, I'm happy to work with Candy McDonald, and we're excited to be part of this job. Thank you so much.
Now that we are candidates better, let's talk about the vision for this spot. Each of you have 60 seconds to respond with the following question.
And we have a band that can play you out. And if that doesn't work, Mitch is just gonna turn off.
Ooh.
You got
Is that our team? That's it's time to wrap it up?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I'm getting serious.
Give us something really good.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Okay, wrap it up. Got it.
Okay, I get to ask the first question, and we'll start with you, Bishop Scott. What is the single smartest investment Tampa can make in next year's budget to grow our local economy?
The investment in terms of economic development. I think that is one of the big and most single issues that is so important, given the fact that Tampa is one of the fastest growing city in the nation, in case you don't know. and economic development, create jobs inside of the city of Tampa, and particularly in District 5. District 5 have an opportunity to really create a lot of new jobs and perhaps even the raising, who knows? And so that there alone will be over $1 billion into the economy for the city of Tampa. So economic development in terms of growth and tax revenue is one of the most opportunity for Tampa to grow the economy.
Thank you. And Naya, what do you think is the single smartest investment Tampa can make in next year's budget to grow our local economy?
For one, I would say, right now we are definitely in housing crisis. We have a lot of people that need housing, all different types of housing, whether it's single family, whether it's a tiny home, whether it's a quad, a triplex, a duplex. We need to have housing. City staff and CRA got together and did a housing needs assessment, and out of that came the Tampa Housing Implementation Plan. We know what we need. We need to invest and make sure that we are actually working toward that plan. The plan is there. We know what we need. We know who needs the assistance. So we need to make sure that we're putting money into that budget so that we can get housing for our community, for District 5.
Bring up a great point that sort of leads us into our next question. Tom, what city of Tampa service do you most
City services?
city service?
Probably, I would say infrastructure in terms of water, very important, and so I would say that's probably one of the most important services in terms of the city of Tampa. Given the fact, if a hurricane comes through, it will affect all of that infrastructure, and so it's very important to make sure that our infrastructure is in place, is functioning, and is sound.
What's your favorite city service?
Well, I am a nature girly and I love going to parks. I love to walk at the parks. So I would definitely say our park staff that keep our parks clean, that keep them safe and up and running. Their green spaces in our parks are extremely important, not just for us as adults, but for our kids as well, for youth, places for them to go, for our seniors, places for them to go. So I would definitely say this are our parks.
Awesome. Bishop Scott, let's go back to you. What boards do you feel you would have the most impact on if appointed as a council member?
The city council appointments, the board is done by the chairman of the board. So the chairman, whoever becomes chair, they make the appointment and sign all city councils, their boards that they will serve on. And there are a number of boards such as the MPO, there's HART, a board, then there's the Parks and Recreation, that's public safety. I think public safety is probably one of my top priorities.
Naya?
Parks, because I love the parks. Hey, I like being outside, okay? I love being outside more times than I can count from June, because sometimes I need to relax my mind. So definitely parks. I think also NPO or transportation, just because transportation is one of my platforms when it comes to growth, housing and transportation. And I think that is definitely next to housing. Transportation is a very big issue that we would need to address, especially if we are going to continue to grow as a city. And you can't have a great city and great growth and not have a way to move people from one place to the next. So,
Absolutely. Bishop Scott, how would you address housing affordability?
I think given the current environment, first of all, we need to understand that affordable housing is a national issue, not just a local issue for them, but it is a national issue. The city of Tampa is projected right now, well, at least on the current, we are having 10,000 new units, but there's a waiting list of over 20,000 people waiting. And so therefore, I think that we have to incentivize through some of the CRA that we have, especially in East Tampa, District 5, and incentivize those who are living in the area to be able to stay in the area so that they can retain their home and not sell it off to developers. And so I think we have to incentivize for affordable housing. I think also we have to work with the development in terms of the development agreement, an agreement they have to make sure they're placing affordable housing as a top priority. I do know that already for next year, scheduled to come online, there's about 200 houses, affordable houses scheduled to come online next year, 20. Thank you.
So, I'm gonna say three things. Planning, zoning, programs. Planning, like I was saying earlier, city staff and CRA did a housing needs assessment, and out of that came the Tampa Housing Implementation Plan. We know what we need. The plan is there. The numbers are there. The plan is there. All we need to do is follow it. That Tampa Housing Implementation Plan is what's going to help us in the future so that we don't look back 10, 15, 20 years and say, oh, we should have done this or that. The plan is already there. The zoning, our comp plan is coming up. Pretty much your zoning allows you to build stuff. And so if we have a code or zoning that is not up to date and you have people coming to city council every Thursday just trying to build something because there's no name for it or there's no zone for it, and they're trying to do affordable housing, but we have to keep coming to city council. They keep talking about it, public comment, and keep going through this rigmarole, removing this red tape so that we can build something out of people. And money for programming. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you all for your thoughtful answers. Again, another round of applause. Well, yet another one of our sponsors.
We accept the prayer of the Tampa Home Association of Neighborhoods, which is an umbrella organization for all of the neighborhoods in the city of Tampa. It was put together in 1988 by both the city government and neighborhood groups and people developers. And it was designed to address zoning, growth management, participation, and how, and those are some of the issues over the years. Leading up to COVID, demand and supply, and by the time COVID was over, they were not having to use anymore, and there was a lot of was playing this thing. And at that point in time, Councilman Bigginover, which Carolyn and Steve Sanchez, to run the board and push for these. And so here we are today. And we are currently with the nomination for folks who want to stay in there and more within the city. We would love to have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we'll hear from our neighborhood delegates and Civic organization.
And so this, because they've done your house ask questions, Mitch, it's you, you've got everybody.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to in the audience here, we're going to get the neighborhood associations, we're going to begin now with the Tampa Heights Civic Association. That's right there. Right there.
I can hold that right here, everybody, residents often feel left out of zoning and development decisions. What would you do to increase transparency and community input in land use planning?
Okay. This is done.
Yeah. Well, zoning, you have to be very careful with that because of the sunshine law when you are, the board is in session and addressing the issue of zoning. In fact, I was very careful when I was on city council, county commission, and talking to people outside of the board because of the sunshine law. But I think it's very important that we do, number one, help the citizens to understand what I call now having a citizen academy. So they understand how government functions, how zoning works, who are the department heads, who are the department directors, so that they understand how that functions, how they work, and they can be engaged, begin to be involved in the process. The second thing I think I would do is have more city council meeting inside of the district, inside of the city, outside of city hall, let me put it that way, so they don't have to come downtown all the time for meetings and get a ticket for parking. And so that would be the other avenue in terms of addressing zoning, being more transparent. So you have the Citizen Academy, then you have bringing city council into the community to have meetings.
Is it possible that I ask for the question again?
Residents often feel left out of zoning and development decisions. What would you do to increase transparency and community input in land use planning?
Accountability, transparency, collaboration, and engagement with the community. I came to a Tampa Heights Civic Association meeting, and Evan Johnson was here and gave a presentation on the comp plan. And if you're, someone that's not necessarily, if you don't work in urban planning, urban development, so some of the terms you may not understand. So even in that little bit of time, he couldn't answer all the questions, but he was able to say, this is what density is, this is what, the difference between density and, how does it apply to the comp plan? This is what it looks like. He even showed us examples of what different types of density looks like. So actually coming out to communities and showing this is what this type of zoning would look like. How we partner with our neighborhood associations, find out when the neighborhood associations meetings are. Can we have a city staff that can go out and actually talk to each neighborhood association, because they are an extension of us, because city can't do everything. So we work and collaborate together.
All right, thank you.
Oh, yeah, get the whole shebang. Like,
Okay. Next up is the Ybor Heights Neighborhood Association.
Good evening. Hi, so my name is Naya Martinez, and everybody knows me in the neighborhood as Mimi. I live in Ybor Heights. So the question that we have is, the stretch of Nebraska Avenue from I-4 to MLK has a long history of neglect. What needs to change?
one, I would say, we need to address housing with our homeless population. We have a lot of homeless on the street, and not from all different walks of life. I've been veterans, I've been people who just had fallen on hard times. We have some people who are returning citizens, and not just temporary housing, actually putting some money into a wraparound service program. So we're actually fixing the problem and not just putting a Band-Aid on it. I think also reinvigorating that corridor, investing in those businesses. I saw from online some pictures of what Nebraska Avenue used to look like with all of these thriving businesses, which means it's been done before. It was there already. So what does that look like for us to make sure that we have opportunities and that we're putting money for small businesses and entrepreneurs to have businesses on that corridor? So I would say wraparound services for our homeless, also making sure that we have opportunities for our small businesses and entrepreneurs on that corridor so that we can reinvigorate that corridor.
Let me just say that it takes the administration working with the board to say that we're going to clean up Nebraska Avenue. Simple as that. There are certain areas throughout this city, you don't have that problem. It's only in certain areas. All you need to do is this administration and the city council, we need to redevelop, do something with Nebraska Avenue, clean it up, make it a good quality of life for all of the city. Okay, there are a lot of homelessness yet in that area, but also there are a lot of programs that are already in place to address the homelessness in the city of Tampa, including veterans. And also, there are housing available for veterans that they don't even qualify for because they don't know, some don't even know. I have not been educated towards that. So I think just take the administration and city council, hey, this is the area that's slighted, this is the area that needs to be cleaned up, this is the area that needs to be redeveloped so that the quality of life can exist for every citizen along that corridor.
If it's been an issue for so long and we can't do that, why haven't we done that again? And I'm just posing a question, right? We've all driven that down Nebraska for quite some time now. And so if we know that that is the issue, why hasn't that been done yet?
Okay.
Sorry. Sorry.
And I would suggest that we need to talk to the current mayor.
There you go.
That's executive officer for the city of the city of Tampa. That's what the charter said.
Okay. Gonna come from the Tampa Art Alliance.
Kathy Baird, Tampa Arts Alliance. Over 70% of the arts in Tampa are located in District 5. In what ways will you be working to find funding for the arts to ensure cultural diversity and preservation throughout the entire district?
So I have a great idea. We have one, art is healing. Art is, it tells stories, it helps us tell the story of their culture and their community. What does it look like to have an artist in residence for the city of Tampa? What does it look like to be able to have one or two artists in residence that we say, hey, your job, you are an artist, your job is to go and make arts. We have you drive all throughout District 5, empty walls everywhere, empty buildings everywhere. And we have so many local artists, young and old, seasoned, that are in the area that are going for opportunities to make art. What does it look like to invest in our nonprofit so that they can bring in artists, pay those artists to give classes to the artists and to the kids? Well, I've done it. We have an artist. All the murals that you see outside are from the local artists that we
If you really want to address the issue of art and solve the budget process, which comes from the mayor. Mayor first present the budget to city council. City council then becomes city council budget because the charter says that city council has oversight of the budget. And so therefore, city council can look at that budget and determine where art going to go. When I was on city council, there's only one problem. When I was on city council before, John Dean Fellow, Linda Saucy, and myself put aside several $1 million for art, but the mayor did not utilize it. See, that's the problem you have, is that the mayor does not have to spend it just because city council moves it around, and that's been one of the problems.
So if the mayor doesn't have to spend the money, why are we up here? Why are we running?
We are governed by a charter. You have to understand you're governed by a charter, and we have to function and work within that charter, city charter. The charter spells out the role of the executive officer, which is the mayor. Secondly, the charter spells out the role of city council, what their responsibility is and what they can and cannot do. And so you have to understand that that's the charter that you as citizens voted on and approved. And because the charter is your constitution, or else you're gonna find yourself like we're dealing with now in terms of constitutional issues.
Okay,
So if the charter exists and so the mayor said no, so if the mayor says no, then do we just go with it and say, all right, moving on to the next thing?
The charter says the mayor has.
If the mayor said, no, we're not gonna do it, then we say, all right, well, sorry, artists, you can no longer have an artist in residence program, and then we just forget about it.
The charter says the mayor can veto city council. City council can override the mayor by super majority vote.
So why are we up here? Why are we up here fighting for community, for District 5, for people, if we are not going to work together to move these forward? If someone says no, we just say okay and keep moving and move on to the next thing.
all right, we're gonna move on. Dan,
There were major changes proposed this year, Tampa comprehensive plan. These will have huge impact on housing and economic development in District 5. Whoever wins this election will be voting on which proposals are good for District 5 or bad for the district. Specifically, name a project proposal that you like and one that you didn't want for the district. Explain why you feel this way about the project. I'd like to add that the council's order back today, made a motion that folks from the planning commission go back to the east side of town and ask them what they want.
So The comp plan is not a one size fits all, and that's what I like about it, because it's not a one size fits all. Every neighborhood or community in District 5 has a different need, and it's up to us as a city to make sure that we're addressing those needs. I think it's great that, Councilman Brett said to go back to the community, go back. That is our job, that is your job. We are supposed to make sure that we're addressing the needs of community, go back and talk to everyone. I think the idea of some of the transit ready corridors are great. Again, as I was saying earlier, our zoning is going to allow us, if we're going to have in the conference, going to allow us to build in different types of housing, the middle housing that's needed, that's going to fit different family sizes, different income brackets, that's going to help people to be able to turn their homes into duplexes so they can save their homes. They don't have to sell it to a developer, and they can keep the character in their home, in their neighborhood, in their community, in their family. So now you are creating generational wealth. There's so many great things about this comp plan. We just need to get it passed.
One of the things you have to understand, the MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization, the comp plan is designed to address issues 20 years out. The plan they're working on now is 2045. Okay. Also be in mind that a lot of the growth that you see now in the city of Tampa and East Tampa was discussed 20 years ago. You need to understand that. Second thing you need to understand is there have been a number of community meetings with the comp plan planning commission. They have already gone out in the community. Perhaps you didn't know about it, perhaps you didn't attend the meeting, but they have sent numerous of meetings already, meeting with neighborhood association addressing the comp plan. Once they do that, they bring it back to city council to get their approval, because at that point they believe that they have all the information from the citizens. It is my understanding that it's coming back now in February to be voted upon and addressed. But you need to understand, they have already been out in the neighborhood association, been out in the community, a lot of.
Negative question, that's the legal voter.
Thank you. The legislature is discussing a constitutional amendment to eliminate property taxes, either completely or only the homestead portions. What other revenue sources would you consider for the city's budget? And how would you manage the budget and address your council priorities with a possible reduction in revenues?
Is that what you're saying? If they should take away the ad valorem tax?
Yes. If they either eliminate, which is what they're proposing,
Listen,
for eliminate.
if they eliminate property tax, we are in for a hell of a ride. I'm just saying you that, okay? Because if they eliminate that, where are you going to get other revenue from? Are you going to do an income tax? I don't think so. Are you going to do a pay and sale tax? I don't think so. So if they eliminate, which they are trying to get it on the ballot so that you can determine whether you want to do away with property tax.
That's it. That's the only time. That's the only time tonight. But yeah, we will be in a lot of trouble if we are to eliminate that tax, because we're up here, we're talking about programs, how we're going to help housing, how we're going to help transit. It's important for us. So
Okay, I suppose one more neighbor's question and continue the conversation.
District 5 faces rapid development pressure, housing affordability challenges, and infrastructure strain. What specific policies would you champion to ensure growth is equitable, that long-term residents protected from displacement, infrastructure keeps up, and new development benefits from the local community?
So we have a lot of new developments that are coming into the area. One way we can make sure that it's equitable, of course, with our community benefits agreements. We're making sure if you're going to build in this area, where are you putting it there? What are the public benefits? What are the community benefits? How we have an issue with housing. We need workforce housing. We have the issue, our youth need opportunities. If we're going to give you city property, or we're going to give you money to do this project, or you're going to get money out of CRA to do this project, what is the public benefit? what are you going to do to make sure that we are addressing the needs of District 5? Also, we have our bonuses that we have. So if we're giving bonuses to our developers that are building, again, what are you going to do for this community in which you are building in to make sure that you are addressing the need in this community? There's a litany of them. Pick 5. Pick all of them. How are you going to address the issue? We can't just continue. If we can grow as a city, we're going to grow, but we have to be sure that the people who are here, we are making sure that we are addressing those needs first. And they are there. They're right there. We have opportunities to do so.
Public-private partnership, when we talk about, been hearing a lot of that in recent times, and that's so very important. Developers, community benefit agreement, making sure that the developers provide their share. Now, what we have to understand is this: developers not going to come and invest their money in the community and lose money. That's not going to happen. So it has to be equitable so that they can benefit, but also so the community can benefit. So from my standpoint, I think that community agreement benefit is very important, but also the CRA, community redevelopment area, for East Tampa has about 8-9 more years. I think it's 2035. Need to look at that again. When I was there, when I created the CRA for East Tampa, I put in place the CAC, Community Citizen Advisory Committee, so that they can determine on how they want to move forward, where they want things to go in terms of development. That has been changed. I think it's important that we bring that back to the citizens, let them have the input on how they want their community to look.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Okay, I got a couple audience questions here. Let's go through here. 3 questions. First one, second, 2 and 1. React to one question. What's the best way to figure out? What's the best way to figure out what people want, and how do they favor some of the people over other voices? Go to you, Scott.
Repeat the question.
Yeah, sure. What's the best way to figure out what people want? How do we favor some people over other voices?
I think it's very important to listen to people, whether it be through community meetings, whether it be through bringing city council again into the community and having a city council meeting. I think it's important that you listen to the voice of the people. Secondly, you got to make sure that you are fair with everybody in the city of Tampa. Nobody should be left behind because of their race, because of their gender, because of their ethnicity, because of where they work. Every citizen in the city of Tampa deserves a right of a good quality of life and deserves the right to be able to enjoy the city of Tampa. And so therefore, I think that we have to make sure that whoever's in office, that they understand that and they understand the need for us to be fair across the board with everybody.
Yeah, based on the rephrase, I'm going to say basically, how you want to hear from the public, how do you separate? You have to make sure that certain voices that maybe are already heard at city council, aren't always dominant voice, that we hear from other people. How do you get that?
Always going to the community. As my opponent was saying, go to the community, talk, go into your neighborhood association meetings, go into your nonprofits. Can we go to a PTA meeting? Because you're meeting people, as cliche as it sounds, meeting people where they are, going to the places where they go, talking to your community, talking to your residents. And also, I would say, for me, in nonprofit, sometimes, you will apply for a grant and it seems like there's always the same 5 or 6 people that always get the grants. We talk to the grantor and say, hey, this is what's happening. This is feeling unfair. We're applying, but it seems as though this grant are only getting to, 1 group of people. Have a conversation. A lot of things can be resolved if you just have a conversation about it. Just talk to people about it. And then as long as you're making sure you're speaking with someone that actually cares about people and was like, okay, this is something my attention, we need to address this. And then we go back to the drawing board and how can we make it better so it's more equitable and that we're making sure that everybody in the city is on the city.
Okay, see, Naya, start out with, very basic here. You help bring up a nice restaurant in Tampa. We're tired of eating fast food. Can we have a Chili's or not?
Is that the option? I mean, no shade. There's so many options. You know, we have a lot of amazing, you know, small businesses and entrepreneurs in our areas. We have space. We have, you know, small scale developers that are able to, you know, to build something that we can put in food in space and it can turn into a small restaurant. Or so why not give them the opportunity instead of, and it's, you know, if you love Chili's, that's fine. But we have so many businesses and we have so many talented people, local people right here in our area that just need an opportunity. You know, you see people online say, you know, they're cooking or they'll cater, but they don't necessarily have a restaurant. They're looking for a place, but they want to have a restaurant. Those are the people that we need to be engaging. Okay, what do you need? Do you have your business plan? You don't have a business plan? That's okay. Come to City of Tampa. We have our business development. We can have someone here to help you write a business plan. This grant is coming out so that you can apply, so you can have a restaurant. And it can all, you can really do this. Tell me.
There are a lot of restaurants now that are in East Tampa that are small business that we need to support. I go to trips, I go to Miss Feed, you know, restaurants like that to support them. There are a lot of restaurants that have a lot of good quality food other than going to Outback. Okay. I'm not sure that East Tampa want to Outback. I'm not sure. But there are a lot of good restaurants, a lot of small businesses that exist now that we need to support. We need to cater to. We need to help build them and build their business.
Okay, last question. Chief Executive, coming out and giving us money. You had a chance to start leadership talk. You had a chance to promote a bold policy or idea to move the city forward. What would that be?
Repeat the question.
Like one big bold policy idea. You know, obviously, you know how the city works, and it's coming very hard for you to do that particularly. But if you could, you have like one big issue that you want to accomplish here in your time and success.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think one of the things I will be more inclined to push: how do we make sure that all of the citizens benefit from infrastructure? How do all the citizens benefit from having a good job? How do all the citizens benefit from having a good quality of life? Because when you look throughout the city and you look at East Tampa, now East Tampa has come a long way from when I first moved here in 1980. Okay, but still there's a lot more that can and should be done. And unfortunately, through the CRA, it's designed to do that. And it somehow, you know, kind of got skewed. But I think it's important to make sure the quality of life for all of the citizens that are very important, that no person in the city of Tampa should be left behind. No citizen should not be able to enjoy being able to go out and walk in their neighborhood and feel free and not feel like they'll be attacked, burglarized or robbed. I think all that's important. Being able to walk in their neighborhood like we do on Channel Side.
Okay,
You know, what would it look like to take all of our areas where we have our stormwater and actually turn them into a place where people can go, like a park? Like you can actually go there and sit and enjoy the nature. What would it look like to have a tiny home village or a small, incubator, neighborhood? I met someone over the weekend that has these, small developer, and they make these, like pods that can be used for business, and you can move them. What would it look like to have, we have all these open spaces throughout, East Tampa, throughout District 5 that we can actually, and you can have people who have their businesses in these areas. What does it look like to utilize all of our open statements that we're not using a lot of them already use Tampa. What would it look like to use those things, to actually use the CRA money in Tampa to build that area up so it looks like we're doing some work in that area?
Thank you.
All right, thank you both. Now vote or song.
Our objective is to be leader and both arts and artists throughout the city. We've done this through, but also promote art as an economic engine and source of innovation. We've done this through creating an art inventory of all the arts and arts organizations throughout the city of Tampa. And people's and having a community of artists join our arts community. So if you're learning more about Tampa Arts Alliance, it's go to our website, tampaartsalliance.org, and we will soon have our headquarters in downtown Tampa.
Wonderful. Okay, so we asked the fun questions, we've asked the curious questions, and now we're going to cut loose and let Mitch live that slide as a game show host. So this next segment is called Team Tom, Team Kari, Team Garrett, Team Naya. Come on, grab your mics. We're going up here. Oh, yes.
Okay, this is for Zoom. So this is how it's gonna work. I'm gonna read a question. And whichever team thinks they know the answer, you're gonna hit your buzzer. And you get it right on team to some point. But if you get it wrong, the other team gets one chance to steal. And the audience can be judges. So cheer loud for teams that get it wrong. You guys are ready?
Sure.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Name 3 local coffee shops in District 5.
Noble Brew, Cafe Hay. Oh, Noble Brew, Cafe Hay, Blind Tiger, and I'll add one, rest in peace to King State.
What is the original street name of Columbus Drive?
Michigan?
That's correct.
Michigan?
Yeah.
Question 3. How old is Ybor City?
How much?
140 years old.
Garrett, you should know these. The 22-mile interconnected pedestrian / bicycle network.
Green Artery, Green Artery, Green Artery.
Real long.
Yeah, I was a part of that.
Last one. Centro Storiano and Circulo Cubano reflect the heritage of which immigrant communities?
So, Sturiano, Spain and Cuba.
There you go. Because it's just, you know, finding in there, you know, ready to go. So we're just going to question or statement. Each candidate gets 15 seconds spoken. The audience decides who wins by applause. The louder the cheer, the clearer the winner. Okay, best breakfast: pancakes or Cuban toast?
Oh, pancakes. I think pancakes is good, but Cuban toast is fine, you know. But you know, I'm from Georgia, so I love pancakes.
Where are the best pancakes in Tampa? Where are the best pancakes in Tampa?
Well, Pancake House, where everybody use all the elected officials used to go on their way with the Pancake House.
Right, know what it is. All right, Ybor chickens, protect them or relocate them?
Mitch, believe it or not, this past week down in Ybor City, a car stopped a hen and all of her little kitties across the street, and they had this traffic backed up a long way all down.
Spider-Man, NFL playoff Super Bowl time. Gasparilla, city treasure or giant traffic jam? River of green or river that's clean? Oh. Come on, Civic.
Guys, we have no points. You guys should.
I don't know.
Guys, it's points. Come on.
All right, I'll move on. Last one.
I know, okay, I know the green dye doesn't hurt the health of the river, so I believe we can in fact have both. But one you drink a lot at, so, yeah.
Okay, last one. Sunrise or Tampa sunset?
I'm gonna say sunset.
Sunset is beautiful. 3 hours over the day. Sunset is beautiful.
Do we have a winner? Come on, just Kari.
I think we're all winners. Right, I gotta take our little Zoom microphone. Yeah, we get to go. We're gonna go. So that concludes all the fun. Now we gotta get serious again.
All right, we're going to close with final remarks. Each candidate has up to 3 minutes. And I'm going to put the point to see who goes first. What do we call it? Naya head and tails. All right, close it out. 3 minutes.
Well, one thing I would like to point out tonight, this is a great way to start our forum season. This is a lot of fun, so this is amazing. Thank you all for putting this together. I've been asked over and over, people want to know, why are you running? And my answer sometimes is simple, because I want to help people. But what does that mean? What does that look like helping people? You have to be in a position, for power to help people, to actually enact policy and actually enact laws so that you can really change people's lives. And that's why I was when I families and children families are going through on a daily. And in my nonprofit seat, I couldn't change conditions. I couldn't really change policy. And so I said, well, I know what I can in this nonprofit seat, but let me go out here and do what I can so that I can really help families, so I can really help the constituents in District 5. We have seen growth happen all throughout the city. This city is going to continue to grow, and that's all right. But how we go about doing it is extremely important. We are at a position right now in District 5 in the city of Tampa where we can make decisions right now that we are not going to look back 5, 10, 15, 20 years and say, we should have done something different. We have seen the same things year after year after year after decade after decade after decade. There are things that I see when I was in high school that are still exactly the same. The same issue that we're having right now, we had them 12 years ago. And we have people in position 12 years ago that didn't fix it, which is why we are where we are right now. The housing crisis is not just, this didn't just happen overnight. We've known that there's going to be an issue. We've known that. We've done the research. We've worked with our city staff. We've seen what the CRS can do. We've seen what's happening out there. We know what people are seeing. Everything is right there in front of our faces. And yet we are still sitting here. Well, what is that? Well, I don't know. Well, somebody is sitting right now. People need help right now. We need transportation right now. We need help right now. Now, not tomorrow, not years from now, not another decade from now. We need them right now. We need to elect someone into that seat. We need to elect me into that seat. But you're going to have somebody who's going to care about the issues that we're having right now. That's going to care about the people that live in this city, in this district right now. That's going to be sure that those needs are being addressed right now. That's not going to keep doing the same exact thing. We need a change. We need fresh ideas. We need new perspective. What we need is not young in that seat that we can you need to make sure that Naya becomes the one that you serve all. You really want to see change in your district.
This city remains about 16 months. 16 months. You need somebody who already knows how these habits. I have experience. I was on county commission for 10 years, served the chairman 3 terms, which says to me that the board had a lot of confidence, faith in me to be elected as their chairman 3 terms. I was on city council, I was elected 3 terms as chairman, which says city council had confidence in being chairman, leading the board as second agenda. We need experience. You know, in the hospital have a heart where you don't want nobody who does not have the experience of the leader. You want somebody who understands policy, understands the charter, who understands the role of city council, who understands the role of a mayor, and that they can function in that role and not worry about being sued. So that's taxpayer dollars that way. Experience, leadership. Talk about serving 3 terms as chairman of each of those organizations. But also let me just say, in case you don't know, I wasn't in office for 12 years. In fact, I mean 14 years since I held office. 14 years. When I left, actually District 5 and Tampa Heights began to develop. I am the one that voted for the CRA for Tampa Heights. Were you anybody who were around in Tampa Heights with slum and light and flow gas everywhere? You won't have that now. Because the CRA voted and created, cleaned it up. Just like I created the CRA for East Town. To help clean up some of the light and the slum. And shelters. And downtown. Only thing is down those jobs and people believe at the end of the day, it's all tail lights leaving downtown. Now you have people who live there, work down there, shop down there, same thing in Chelsea. You need someone who understands policy. You need someone who understands the legislative process. You need someone who understands, who know how to work with other people. See, it takes 4 votes. 4 votes. No one person can change this city. Takes 4 votes on Tampa City Council. Takes 4 votes on the county commission. And so I have to be able to work, whoever you elect, I have to be able to work with the other city council persons to be able to change Tampa House, East Tampa, the city of Tampa for the better. The growth that you are experiencing now was planned 20 years ago. I was on the county commission and I was the one that put forth and planned for the affordable housing task force that the county commission is going to come today. Listen, Thomas Scott, 16 months for me. I don't have to go and fight find the record and read about the job, I know about the job because I've been here. Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Everybody who's out there, if you want to see a more official, we give this next time we together on October 16th in the town, channel side, and on October 17th here on WNF. Or you can have a time, love, and a good time. So thank you to all of our host organizations and questions for hosting. And thank you to Violet Retro for the teacher for sitting on. And everybody.
Give it up.